Okay, so I was talking about my experience in October of whatever it was, October 14th, 1977, when I saw the end of the world. Um, oh yeah, it as I said on the first video, I am certain that this is it. This stuff, this protest and this other stuff, it's not going to stop. And I know this is what it was. And that was the trigger event, because you see what these protesters are doing is, and they just don't understand, but I believe I do, they are setting divine forces into motion that they have no idea what's going to happen. What is going to happen is there's going to be a cleansing. Humanity is going to go through a purge, and it's not going to be. It's going to be very bad, and it's. I am certain now, because I now that I this stuff has started, I'm quite certain that that was the trigger event. This riots and this unrest, and I will stop it at the appropriate time, because I'm going to get great powers, or so I believe. Obviously, if I'm the savior, well, I've got to do something. And as I said, beginning of 2020, I just assumed that the thing that I saw in 1977, the end of the world, was just averted. But I know now it was not averted. Humanity was given a reprieve of about 20 to 25 years. And as anybody can see, we've actually been going backwards. Just look at the way people are these days, and have been from some time for some time. And I saw it in 2012. That's when, it seemed to start right after 9/11, but it's 2012 was just, people started to really get angry, and I don't understand what they're so angry about. Angry over nothing. You can't talk to a lot of people. They're looking to be offended. I think we're all experiencing it. So we'll see about that. Anyway, yes, what is coming is there's going to be a lot of people going to die. I can't say it makes me very happy. When this happened to me, I'm talking about back in '77. I had already been hearing about this end of the world stuff, but I had no context to understand it. And when I had my experience, and then I remembered, because I'd had discussions with people, because I had just been getting into some of this metaphysics and awareness stuff, and people were telling me that we were living in the end times, and there was going to be a purge. I had no idea what they were talking about. When I had my experience, well, I saw it. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that some people, when I've told them this story, especially if they had no context for it, they would tell me that I was negative. I told them what I saw. Other people would say, people who had told me about this thing that humanity was going to go through, said, well, okay, you saw what teachers have been teaching about, a cleansing. But I'm trying to make the point that that's God's plan. That's not my plan. As I think I've already said, my tendency is to try to get along with people. I try to see the good in people, and there's a lot of good in people. I'm not saying people are necessarily that good, and that's the Nazis showed that I'm sure those people thought they were good people, and they cooperated. So sometimes it's hard to determine exactly what good people are, but I try to see the good in people, and I'm very good at getting along with people. I don't try to be condescending, like say, well, I'm tolerating them. No, I just get along with people. I've made a few mistakes, because sometimes when I'm friends with people and they're not into some of this awareness stuff, and it's hard to relate to them when I'm in the mood. Oh, hey, I want to talk about this awareness stuff. There's not many people. I need friends, and they don't. Well, then I might not want to be friends with them anymore. And I've made that mistake, and I don't do this anymore. If I got a friend, if you're my friend for life. Not that, again, these days that's harder to do, but I like to make friends with people. You can learn from anybody and have good relations, and it's always interesting to listen to people talk about their lives and their families and things that they're experiencing and so on and so forth. So I'm a real believer in it. But when I had this thing and I had my experience and I'd already heard about this cleansing, well, I must say that I started to look at things a little bit differently. And then I did start seeing, negative things about the world. In other words, I had to prove in my mind that humanity, quote, deserved this. And we're getting into very tricky territory when we're saying that, but again, this is God's plan. It's not my plan. It's not my plan. I don't think like this. I don't think about humanity deserves some kind of cleansing. And maybe sometimes I might think about it because I get so angry at the way people are, but in general, I don't think like that. That's God's plan. So anyway, I saw the time we're living in, and it's only going to get worse, and there's going to be this speed up, and all kinds of just violence is going to happen because that's the only way to clear the air, resolve whatever's going to be resolved in this cleansing, and then we will move on to another kind of living. One thing I want to say right here and now is I am not a believer in the man-made climate change. I am quite certain it's the biggest scam in the history of science. It's a disgrace. I do not believe we are destroying the climate systems. What we're doing to the earth, that's a very contentious point, very many contentious points. But we are not, I do not believe in man-made climate change. Maybe we're affecting it a little bit, but I'm trying to make the point. The point I'm trying to make is I'm not saying humanity deserves this. This is real tricky stuff when you start talking about this. But there is going to be a great deal of violence, unavoidable. And once it gets going, it won't be stoppable because there are just too many forces that will be set in motion. And that's what I saw, as I said, in October of '77. And I'm making these videos, as I said earlier, because I am quite certain that this is it. We're not going back. I thought with this virus thing, whatever it is, well, maybe we can go back to some kind of normal. But these riots, again, these people are putting forces into motion of which they just don't understand. That's all I can say. And I could say a lot more, but I'm not a fan of this tear down America. I think America, yes, America's done some bad things, but I still think it's a force for good. And I don't want America taken down. But when this cleansing starts, we'll just have to see what's going on.